Everyone, today I want to talk about 5 things that I have learned as an accountant slash auditor slash CPA. I've worn many hats in my career thus far as an accountant. I've been a licensed CPA in the state of New Jersey since 2010, so it's been 8 years now. And I want to talk about 5 things that I learned, and they kind of cross being a CPA, being an accountant, being an auditor. So yes, so I have my list and I'm gonna go through the items. So number 1, take the CPA exam as soon as you can. So, and also get the credits because, well, at least in New Jersey and I think New York and most states, you have to have 150 credits to even take the exam. So a lot of schools now have that 5-year master's program built in. I did that. I think that my year was the first year they started that Master's of Accountancy program at the school. So I took that to get my 150 credits right out of the way. As soon as I started my job in the Big Four that January, I started studying to take the CPA exam to pass all the parts, and I kept taking it until I passed all the parts. Because what I found, and I still see now, and I remember people advised me when I started my job, they said, the higher you get up in accounting, the more busy you will be. So you will have only less time to study. Number 1, because you're going to be more stressed at work. Number 2, because you may have kids and have a husband and have other things by then. You don't know what life will bring. So that first year, those first 2 years, like study and do all that you can to pass that exam, get it done, get it out the way. Number 2 is do not stay in a dead-end job. Move quickly. So for me, like I said, I started my job at a Big Four. I knew very quickly I did not want to stay at the Big Four at that time. I knew I wanted to work at a smaller firm or a smaller environment. And I also knew early on that I liked working with nonprofits. So my first year, actually not in my first year, 9 months into my job at the Big Four, I had a company that I interned with in college reach out to me and say that there was a senior accountant position. They asked me if I wanted to leave. So I remember talking to people at the Big Four, and they were saying, if people leave, that you should wait until you're like a manager, wait 5 years in until you can get like a controller position and then leave. But I'm like, okay, if I know already that I don't want to work at a Big Four, if I know I don't want to work at like a large company, what would I be waiting 5 years for? And then a lot of the people that were like 2 or 3 years above me, like seniors or stuff like that, they were leaving to get the position that I was getting at that time. Like my supervisor at that time left to be a senior accountant. So I'm like, if I can get this position now, I'm going to leave. I know I don't want to be here, So that was what I used to leave. And then ultimately, after working at that job for a few years, I realized that I wanted some more variety, so I moved again. But I will say I moved later than I should have because I knew probably 2 years in I wanted to leave, and I stayed longer than that, but I got promoted along the way, so it was still okay. But if you know for sure you don't want to do anything, it doesn't make sense to stay. Third thing is take CPE in the areas that you are uncertain. The one thing I do love about public accounting firms is that you have the free CPE and free resource materials at your fingertips, which is something that you do not find in private. So if it's your first year and say you have to, I don't know, audit, I would say like investments. I'm not sure if you'd be auditing that at the staff level, but if there are things that you don't understand, definitely go into like the CPE or resource library and read up on it. Get sharp in it. Don't feel discouraged that you don't know everything from school, because in school they touch on areas really quickly for you to take your tests and move on. You won't have the mastery that you get from working on it in practice. So anything that is confusing, just read up on it some more. And then like after, say you taking that 1 hour CPE course, the next day when you're on the job, at least when you reach out to your supervisors about something, you could come with the knowledge that you gain. Like you could say, oh, okay, yeah, I know usually investments, we should be looking at, the net activity for the year, the gains and losses, blah, blah, blah. you know, what document should I be looking at or whatever. Like, at least come with the knowledge that you are obtained so that they know, okay, they've done some research. You're asking an educated question. Fourth thing is keep organized files and or a notebook for each client or area of practice. So what I do now, because I'm back in auditing, for each client, I have a folder on my desktop. And in there, I'll put important things that I can refer to. And also, when I was in practice, because I worked for a school, so I had a separate folder for student billing, for pension, for the different areas that I touched. And it's important to keep either files or a notebook with important things, because when the year goes on, you're not going to remember stuff. So say if you have a meeting with your boss and they're like, oh, these are the 5 things that, you know, we need to achieve this month. I need you to reach out. If it was student billing, I need you to reach out to this parent. I need you to add this person to the pension plan, whatever. Like, you have those things. If you don't write it down, you're not going to remember. Like, life is going to get ahead of you. You need some type of tracking system. And then also in audit, like, a lot of times, I mean, for me, like, especially since you may keep the same clients from year to year, it's helpful to know, okay, what did we discuss? What happened last year? Oh yeah, last year they acquired this. So it's good to have like those files that you can go back to. And then also, if you come off the client and a new team member comes on, you can give them information too that they can use. The last thing I put is document, so someone else knows what you did. So in audit, that's supposed to be a no-brainer. You're supposed to document the audit binder in such a way that if another team member comes on and you roll off the job, they know who you spoke to, they know what reports you obtained, they know how you made your conclusions. Now, while that's a no-brainer, 100% honesty, in any audit job that I've seen, that has not been the case. A lot of times, half the battle is understanding, unfortunately, what the hell the team did to arrive at this conclusion, which is not how things should be. It should be clear. So I make it a point when I'm documenting to be very clear, to reference what document I looked at. If it was a calculation, these are the, I got this number from page 6 of work paper number, blah, 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 and added this on page number 8 of this, like very specific of where I got everything from. And if things have changed, like say because you know you're rolling forward the audit binder, if it says, oh, we talked to Jessica, the controller in prior year, if it's not if Jessica is no longer the controller, then write the new person's name, or just write the controller. It's easier to not put names and just put positions, because that way there's less to update. And it seems obvious, but I'm telling you, I'll see things. It's like, okay, this person quit 2 years ago. Why is their name still here? Or just says we obtained a report. Well, what report did you obtain? So that I know what to ask this client for. So definitely document as much as possible. And like I said, is in my last point, is helpful to you, because if you have to remember something for your own recollection, you have something to refer to. And I think that is all. So hopefully my tips were helpful, and see you next time.